Good evening, and thank you for joining us. In Germany, a car plowed into a busy outdoor Christmas market in the eastern German city of Magdeburg on Friday. At least 2 people were killed and 60 injured in what authorities called a deliberate attack. The suspected attacker was arrested shortly after the incident took place. The motive of the attack was unclear. Daniel Rao tells us more.
The driver was arrested shortly after the car barreled into the market at around 7 p.m. when it was teeming with holiday shoppers looking forward to the weekend. Footage distributed by a German news agency showed the suspect's arrest on a walkway in the middle of the road. A nearby police officer pointed a handgun at the man as he lay prone. Other officers soon arrived to take the man into custody. The 2 people confirmed dead were an adult and a toddler, but officials said additional deaths couldn't be ruled out because 15 people had been seriously injured. The suspect is a 50-year-old Saudi doctor who moved to Germany in 2006, according to a senior local official. She said the suspect had been practicing medicine in Bernburg, about 40 kilometers south of Magdeburg. The region's governor told reporters the suspect is believed to be a lone perpetrator, and as far as local authorities know, there is no further danger to the city. The suspect was not known to German authorities as an Islamist, according to local broadcaster MDR. A Saudi source told Reuters its government had warned German authorities about the attacker, who the source said had posted extremist views on his personal X account. Saudi Arabia's foreign ministry has condemned the attack. The violence shocked Germany, prompting several other towns to cancel their weekend Christmas markets as a precaution and out of solidarity with Magdeburg's loss. Daniel Rao, TV News.
Facing a government shutdown deadline, the U.S. Senate rushed through final passage early on Saturday of a bipartisan plan that would temporarily fund the government. The new proposal drops President-elect Donald Trump's demands for a debt limit increase into the new year. House Speaker Mike Johnson had insisted Congress would meet our obligations and not allow federal operations to shutter ahead of the Christmas holiday season. Nasfi Karim has more.
It was a vote to ensure the most basic of requirements for any country, keeping the government open. In the end, the United States House of Representatives and Senate approved a new plan hours ahead of a government shutdown. However, the revised plan does not include a demand by President-elect Donald Trump to increase the debt limit, a proposal that was previously rejected by the House. The new bill passed 366 to 34, and the Senate worked overnight to pass it at 85 to 11. The new legislation funds the government until March 2025 and is largely the same as the previous bill supporting federal operations and disaster aid, but without the debt ceiling increase.
We're grateful that everyone stood together to do the right thing, and having gotten this done now as the last order of business for the year, we are set up for a big and important new start in January. We can't wait to get to that point.
The future point Johnson refers to is when Trump takes over as president on January 20th, with the House and Senate becoming Republican majority. Trump wants to slash the federal budget and fire thousands of employees while also cutting taxes. The incoming president is also not fearful of shutdowns, having presided over the longest government shutdown in history during his first term in office. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said the vote was a victory for the American people, while criticizing the extreme conservatives who wanted to remove the debt ceiling.
House Democrats have successfully stopped the Billionaire Boys Club, which wanted a $4 trillion blank check, by suspending the debt ceiling in order to enable them to cut Social Security, cut Medicare, and cut nutritional assistance while providing massive tax breaks for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected.
Some Democrats accuse Trump's new head of Department of Government Efficiency, billionaire Elon Musk, of calling the shots behind the scenes. Nazvi Karim, TVB News.
Police arrested over 150 people over the past 3 weeks for involvement in different types of scamming. Authorities urge residents to be cautious of phone callers who claim to be customer service staff. Limo Sengai reports.
Police said more people have fallen into customer service scam traps. The number of customer service fraud cases for the Kowloon East Regional Headquarters in the first quarter was 50. However, the figure rose to 586 by the third quarter. The total losses for the relevant cases in the first 10 months was $193 million. The force launched a special operation this month and arrested 154 people aged between 15 and 72. Among them, 146 had stooge accounts. A 61-year-old victim said she had received a call from a person claiming to be a WeChat customer service staff. The scammer said she had activated the $1 million guarantee service on her WeChat account, a security safeguarding function to compensate for the loss of funds when unauthorized use of WeChat Pay or Alipay accounts occur. The caller told the woman to cancel the service or fees would be deducted from her account each month. The call was then transferred to the scammer's accomplice, who claimed to be a bank employee and asked the woman to pay $950,000 to multiple stooge accounts. In a press conference, police stressed that platforms such as WeChat and Alipay do not contact users for their bank account details or personal information through phone or text messages. Ms. 9, TVB News.
Secretary for Housing Winnie Ho hosted a seminar on the Basic Housing Unit scheme today. She offered answers to questions raised by subdivided flat residents, academics, and district council members. Ann Ip reports.
The Secretary for Housing, Winnie Ho, said she was happy to use the meeting as a chance to give detailed explanations to questions as a means to reduce misunderstandings. One district council member raises concerns about what would happen to tenants evicted from homes due to the property undergoing renovations to meet the scheme's standards. In response to the question, Ho said that property owners will have ample time to negotiate relocation plans with tenants to ensure an orderly progression. Questions about how renovated subdivided flats would be regulated were also asked. To this, Ho said that authorized personnel and registered structural engineers would be deployed to inspect the area, ensuring that the flats matched with government standards. Ho emphasized that the Basic Housing Unit scheme has the capacity to bring about an immediate positive change for residents. She assured that despite the process of moving houses, many residents have successfully adapted and found the new environment to be warm and inviting, making it feel like home. Ann Ip, TVB News.
Welcome back. Hong Kong is celebrating the Winter Solstice Festival today, considered the most important time of the year for family gatherings in traditional Chinese culture. Many residents rise early for grocery shopping to get ready for a hearty solstice dinner. Some restaurants said their dinner tables were fully booked 10 days ago. Danny Zhou has more.
For foodies seeking a delightful treat for winter solstice, the Kowloon City Market offers a smorgasbord of fresh and tantalizing seafood, including meaty lobsters and mantis shrimps. The prices of a catty of coral crabs and large shrimps are $280 and $420 respectively. This customer said she had spent $2,000 to $3,000 on king crabs and red grouper, but it's all worthwhile for the family gathering. Another customer said she just buys whatever is in stock. This is to support Hong Kong's economy, she noted, even though food prices are relatively higher in the current environment. Vendors are facing a reduced flow of people. The owner of a chicken store told us they have lost half of their business. A large number of Hong Kongers are spending their holidays tripping north to shop for festival goods in Shenzhen. Miss Choi, a fishmonger, also saw a remarkable decline in business. Meanwhile, many people choose to dine out to celebrate winter solstice. In this restaurant in Lok Fu, all 38 tables for dinner-time meals were booked out 10 days ago. Some people have opted to hold family feasts at noon, with per customer spending reaching $350. Manager of the restaurant, Mr. Lai, said people are being more thoughtful about spending, probably due to the ailing economy. But food costs are on the rise. The costs of Australian lobsters, suckling pigs and shark fin increased by 30% compared with last year. And lower gross profit margins make it unlikely for restaurants to cut prices, Lai said. The Shengshui MTR station is packed with people. Many are heading to Shenzhen to enjoy dinners at lower cost and with better service. Over 10 million passengers are expected to pass through Hong Kong borders from today through January the 1st. The immigration department has reminded citizens to plan in advance for the holiday travel rush. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
The Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office of the State Council said in a statement that President Xi Jinping's inspection of Macau provides guidance for the implementation of one country, two systems. President Xi attended 18 activities during his three-day stay in the SAR. The office says Xi's speeches elevated the understanding of one country, two systems to new heights, underscoring that the principle would not be altered, swayed, or distorted. The 25th anniversary of Macau's return to the motherland is a moment of historical importance. The office noted that it is shouldered with the mission of creating a holistic long-term blueprint for the better development of Hong Kong and Macau while leveraging their distinctive advantages. Xi has called on promoting high-level security, high-quality development, enhancing internal and external connectivity, and boosting inclusivity and harmony. In South Korea, thousands of supporters of President Yoon Suk-yeol gathered in central Seoul today to protest his impeachment. Protesters chanted, "We oppose impeachment," and called for the immediate arrest of opposition leader Lee Jae-myung. Yoon was impeached by the opposition-controlled National Assembly last week over his declaration of martial law on December 3rd. However, martial law lasted only 6 hours after the National Assembly voted to block it. Yoon's presidential powers have been subsequently suspended, and the Constitutional Court is to determine whether to formally remove him from office or reinstate him. Before Macau's return to Chinese rule 25 years ago, some Macanese people were concerned at the time about their ability to adapt to the new political environment. That's after more than 400 years of Macau being a Portuguese colony. TVB News reports from the enclave and explores how the Eurasian community wants to contribute further in Macau's development. Macanese, a multiracial group unique to Macau. They are people of Cantonese and Portuguese descent, sometimes mixed with Malay, Sinhalese, and Indian ancestry. After Macau's return to Chinese rule 25 years ago, some Macanese decided to leave the enclave. Some others chose to stay. Among them was Antonio Monteiro, or Leung Ondo, who returned to Macau after graduating from a university in Portugal. Now serving as chair of the Macanese Youth Association of Macau, Antonio said Macau's government and the central government have given many opportunities for Macanese people, especially for young people, in relation to the Greater Bay Area. There are also opportunities to travel to different Chinese cities every year. Last year, trade volume between China and Portuguese-speaking countries topped $220 billion. Currently, Macau is home to more than 13,000 Macanese. Antonio believes their role will become more important in the development of the enclave. He stressed Macanese can converse in both Chinese and Portuguese, so they can serve as a cultural bridge with Portuguese-speaking countries to help promote Macau. He noted that the new chief executive of Macau, Sampo Fai, speaks Portuguese and is well acquainted with the Macanese people. Antonio said the youth group will maintain close communication with the SAR's leader to campaign for more development of Macau's homegrown Eurasian community. China's restriction on Australian lobsters has finally come to an end after 4 long years. Australian suppliers are optimistic about regaining lost ground and returning to pre-restriction levels. However, Hong Kong retailers are concerned that prices might rise for local consumers. Zachary has more.
Meet these charming stars of the Sydney fish market at Blackwater Bay Fremont, offered at very reasonable prices. Since China, the world's largest consumer of lobsters, imposed restrictions on importing from Australia in 2020, suppliers from the country have been exporting at prices 20 to 25% lower to destinations such as Hong Kong and Vietnam, attracting a new wave of lobster lovers. Sashimi, pan-fried, everything.
People who didn't normally eat lobster were all of a sudden starting to do it in many different ways. People were having lobster sashimi. There was even competitions that chefs and influencers were running to see what people could do with lobster.
Tourist spots like Seafood Market also benefit from the price drop of lobsters in domestic market. It attracts tourists to come here and have a bite of fresh lobsters.
While Australian lobsters were off the table, lobsters from Brazil and Southeast Asia stepped in. The question remains, How will Australian suppliers recover their lost ground now that they are back in the game?
The advantage that Australia has is their fisheries are very well managed. The importers in China obviously screaming out for seafood. I mean, not just lobster, but given some of the issues in Japan with the disputes across their territorial waters, I understand a general shortage of seafood in China.
An Australia wholesaler is confident that exports to mainland China will return to pre-restriction levels.
If we were able to sell into China, things would turn around and go back to where they were. We actually export other products into China as well, other seafood products.
In Hong Kong, this Australian grocery store was founded during the price drop that occurred under the restrictions. Simpena Lee, the store owner, is now concerned that the reopening of mainland China's market will lead to higher lobster prices or a less stable supply for Hong Kong consumers. But she believes that the product will maintain their value due to their quality. Sakarib, TB News.
That's the news for tonight. Thank you for watching.